Another day, another story. A mass shooting in Birmingham, Alabama, on the night of September 21, 2024, left 4 people dead and 17 others injured. The attack took place in the 5 Points South nightlife district, a busy area filled with bars and restaurants. According to police, the shooting appeared to be a targeted hit aimed at one of the victims, potentially linked to a murder-for-hire scheme. Multiple shooters reportedly used automatic weapons, and over 100 shell casings were found at the scene. Welcome to Tabo Eminent Channel. The victims were gunned down outside a hookah lounge called Hush, and 3 of them were pronounced dead on the sidewalk, while a 4th died later in a hospital. The injured were taken to local hospitals, with some in critical condition. The incident has left the community shaken, and local officials, including Mayor Randall Woodfin, expressed frustration at the ongoing gun violence crisis in the city and the nation. Witnesses described a chaotic scene, with rapid gunfire and people fleeing in terror. One survivor, Gabriel Aslami, shared how he was waiting in line outside the club when the shots rang out, likening the scene to a horror movie. The incident marked the 31st mass killing of 2024 in the U.S., adding to a grim trend of gun violence in Birmingham. It follows a series of similar incidents in the city, where gun violence has become a major concern. The White House issued a statement Sunday, condemning gun violence after 4 people were killed and at least 17 others were wounded following a mass shooting in a popular Birmingham, Alabama, nightlife district Saturday night. Last night, several people were killed and many more wounded in downtown Birmingham, Alabama. And once again, our entire nation is watching in horror as another community is devastated by the national epidemic of gun violence, Steph Feldman, Gun Violence Prevention Director, said in a statement. President Biden and Vice President Harris join Americans across the nation in praying for the families affected by this senseless violence, Feldman continued. At the direction of President Biden, Feldman said the White House is coordinating with federal, state, and local officials as investigations are underway into the shooting. Police said it is believed that multiple gunmen opened fire shortly after 11 p.m. Saturday in the city's 5 Points South Entertainment District. Americans should not have to live like this. And we can't let it become normal. This year alone there have been more than 400 mass shootings which have traumatized Americans and torn communities apart. As President Biden often says, enough is enough, Feldman said. 2 men and a woman were killed at the scene in the 2000 block of Magnolia Avenue in the 5 Points South area near the University of Alabama at Birmingham, while a 4th victim died at the university's hospital, the Birmingham Police Department told Fox News Digital via email Sunday morning. Police responded to reports of gunfire shortly after 11 p.m., police said. Authorities identified 3 out of 4 of the victims killed by the gunfire. Police said all 3 died at the scene and identified the victims as Anitra Holloman, 21, of Bessemer, Alabama, Taj Booker, 27, of Birmingham, Alabama, and Carlos McCain, 27, of Birmingham, Alabama. The 4th victim is an adult male, who died at the hospital, pending identification, officials said. Detectives believe the shooting was not random and stemmed from an isolated incident where multiple victims were caught in the crossfire, police said in the emailed statement. The mass shooting killed 4 people and wounded at least 18 others, police said. In a press conference Sunday morning, Birmingham Police Chief Scott Thurmond said he believes the shooting was a hit, and that someone was paid to kill the targeted victim, while he added that the victim is among those who were killed. Police confirmed the weapons used were fully automatic and that more than 100 shell casings were found at the scene along with numerous other pieces of evidence, according to Thurmond. They also believe there were several shooters based on evidence. Authorities added that they are also working to determine who was the target of the shooting and will be reviewing video surveillance. I will say this, we, all of us as a community, owe it to the victims to do everything we can to take these shooters, killers, off our streets, Birmingham Mayor Randall Woodfin said. At this time, authorities say no suspects are in custody. To the victims and the victims' families, our heartfelt condolences go out to them. That's 21 people whose lives were forever changed. That's 21 families, that some are destroyed and some are just altered. Our hearts go out to them as we work through this, Thurmond said. Authorities are strongly urging the public to come forward with any information that could help lead to an arrest. Here's what we know: at least 4 people were killed and 17 more injured in 5 Points South. Multiple shooters opened fire just after 11 p.m. on Saturday. No suspects are in custody. 11 victims are being treated at UAB hospital. Police believe the shooting was not random and stemmed from an isolated incident. Multiple victims were caught in the crossfire. Police have set up an evidence submission portal. Anyone with information is asked to submit evidence to the Birmingham Police Department's evidence submission portal or call Crime Stoppers at 205-254-7777. Birmingham police have asked that businesses in the area provide any surveillance footage they might have, and requested that the public reach out to them with any relevant information. Police believe the shooting was not random and stemmed from an isolated incident. Multiple people were caught in the crossfire. The intended target was among the dead, and police think it was a hit that did not have anything to do with nearby businesses. A total of 21 people were shot. Police originally stated there were 22 people shot. To the victims and their families, our heartfelt condolences go out to them. That's 21 people whose lives were forever changed. That's 21 families who some were destroyed and some were forever altered, said Birmingham Police Chief Scott Thurmond. We acknowledge the toll of the heaviness for those involved, Mayor Randall Woodfin said. He continued, we, all of us, as a community owe it to them to do everything we can to take these killers off the streets. The University of Alabama at Birmingham Hospital received 12 of the victims, including one deceased victim brought to the hospital from the scene, a spokesperson told WVTM in a statement. Dejan Singleton said witnessing the scene was very scary, and he saw several people on stretchers. I walked up when it was just ending, because everybody was screaming, there was people crying, said Singleton. 4 people are dead, and police said dozens of people were shot and their injuries range from non-life-threatening to life-threatening. No one is in custody at this time, according to police. 2 men and a woman were found unresponsive with gunshot wounds when police arrived, and then more gunshot victims were found. Those 3 victims died on the scene and another died at the hospital. At least 4 of the gunshot victims have life-threatening injuries. Dozens of other people who were shot have various injuries, police said. Birmingham police officer Truman Fitzgerald said the victims were out in the open on the sidewalk and street when the shooting began. Investigators are trying to figure out if the shooters walked up to the victims or drove by in a vehicle. Police believe Glock switches were used. Those switches are machine gun conversion devices and have been the focus of a recent federal crackdown in Birmingham. Thanks for watching. Request you to subscribe the channel.